get back to work. It loaded, so I deleted the one on the phone, and I didn't watch it, because I'm good psychologically and mentally and emotionally with where we're at with the technology. And I'm redoing Western New Mexico's rivals. I'm starting over because once you get up to about 2022 and three, the the hard drive and the loading and the stuff gets a little tricky, and it loads up too much information, and it gets a little weird. So I just start over. And so I just, me, Mr. Sand Painter, especially with technology, you don't get attached to it. It's like it's just a game. So you just start over. When they fuck with everything, it's annoying. Especially particularly, this 13 and 14 on NCAA with all the white cornerbacks and the black kickers and all that stuff. That was just genetically just insulting. You're like, nah, I don't think we're going to have 50% white cornerbacks by 2015, and 50% black kickers. And no, that's just, you have to go through and no. Did it happen? It's 2025. Do we have 50% white cornerbacks in college football and 50% black kickers? Was the scientific community able to pull that off? It's totally irritating. In 2006 and 12, you get mostly black cornerbacks and mostly white kickers. You get an occasional black kicker and an occasional, not really even white. They had like I think a light, the medium skinned cornerback. So I'm like, okay, but it very rare. I'm very rare. The white corner shutdown cornerback is he's a unicorn. Okay, he is the unicorn, but he's the one they chase off and all try to kill because they're jealous of him. He's the guy like King David and Jesus. So he's a very rare cat. Okay, but he's a human being. He's not a god. Okay, and so the white people see him as a god because he's so exceptional physiologically, emotionally, but not just that, but intellectually. When Pilate talked to Jesus, he's like, "Oh my God, this guy's more brilliant than all the philosophers in all of Rome." Well, because all the philosophers in all of Rome are egomaniacs that seek crowds to stroke their egos. And an intelligent man just wants to love and be loved in return and help people be faithful and understand that it's right to be faithful because life is eternal and grace is infinite. And you perpetuate what you do and who you are. Okay. And so what they're doing with the science projects right now, life's eternal and grace is infinite. So if someone has become an egomaniac and has turned themselves into God because they're jealous of me, with this scientific evidence collection, it can be used as a tool to, public embarrassment is an excellent tool, especially when you catch them on camera, to stop people eternally from perpetuating that kind of wicked, selfish, evil, jealous behavior, And so when that kind of thought process, when they had that concentration on me with me being jealous of the dog Daniel when I was 5, and they had all these wicked, selfish people going, you hate that. I don't hate the dog. And then finally I had to catch myself and go, what's going on? And it's really hard when you're 5 years old and you have a lot of people in the Mormon church or they are angry with you because you just kicked Spencer J. Kimball's ass to the curb because he's a racist, white supremacist jerk who thinks I'm betraying the chosen people. So when Ron at Chiricahua and Mr. Ponce, a Puerto Rican, see that and explain, do you see that? You see what he did? That's why Ron would tell all those white supremacists at White Sands, I'm a Chiricahua, and he would tell them at work, like I used to, I kill you. You get all my good people killed. I'd kill you right on the spot to save all the good people from getting killed by your selfishness. And Ron used to say that to white supremacists all the time at White Sands. I'm in Chiricahua. In ancient times, if you'd come here, I'd take your fucking naked body out, stake it out on the sand, and slit your eyelids and pour honey on them and let the ants eat your eyeballs out. That's what he would tell him. Is like, I wouldn't do that. I'd just cut his fucking head off. I'm not Chiricahua. I don't torture people. to tell them never come back here again, I just cut their head off. And then, because if you torture people, you're inviting their torturous relatives to come and sodomize your 3-year-old brother and then laugh at you and make you watch and let you keep your eyes so you always remember. We Vikings will be back. Because they're sick. They want you to remember everything they did to you. So you never try to stop it again. Because there's more of them than there is you, and they have gunpowder, and they have smallpox and blankets and stuff like that. So don't get into a rape war with a bunch of psychotic, angry perverts that like fucking men to death in prison. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Just squash it. Just, Muhammad, forgive me, Muhammad. I'll never do it again. I know, and I forgive you. Wow. Okay, just cut his fucking head off. Okay. Don't fuck around if you get it done. Like Saladin taught him, don't make his mom feel it. Don't turn her into an evil, vindictive bitch. He came here to rape, pillage, and kill and murder. Put the dog out of its misery. Then he'll look at the floor, and his Bruja mom will never come back again. Hey, black robe, like I got at the, So, life's eternal and grace is infinite. I'm a human being. I can't make people do what I want them to do, but I can collect all the evidence of good and bad and right and wrong and truth and lie, and then fix the technology because laws are natural and life is eternal and grace is infinite, and all the philosophers in the world can't stop that, right? Do you understand? So I'm like, okay, so I'm very uncomfortable, okay? I'm being poisoned to death by pesticides and Roundup. They put the crap with alcohol, and they can put topical heroin, as that one guy told me, in the air, and the pesticide mixes and stuff, and the Incas not even be aware of it, or if they are aware of it, that's their issue and not mine. If they think I deserve to die because I'm a threat to the good people of the world, because I'm a pervert and a child molester, it's like, are you serious? Because you gotta really. You guys didn't think this one through too good. I think they did think it through too good, but they were more concerned about winning because they have ego problems than they were concerned about living the Lord's Prayer to save people from fighting and winning and losing because of ego problems. I think if they could self-correct, they would do so. So they need me to correct, and I'm doing that. So, if my wife doesn't come forward and say, I don't want to have sex with a 5-year-old because I got groomed as an 8-year-old by a Navy member, if she doesn't want to come up forward and say, I want this to stop now, then that's her issue and not mine. But the technology collects all the evidence because he's a Palo Verde Palabrand, and he could sell nuclear secrets to the Chinese. Okay, so everything in your house. I explained that to Peter right off the bat when he told me about, every time there's a leak or something, they take us to the Pentagon and debrief us and all that. And I was like, your house is under more intense surveillance than anybody else's. They saw it on my dad's NRA videos. You're a nuclear engineer at Palo Verde Palapan. You don't think that they're going to have your house under surveillance when they give you the computers from work because they get the new ones? They wouldn't put that. Yeah, they're going to put that kind of equipment. Everybody has that kind of equipment. They just make them think that, no, it's just surveillance equipment comes a dime a dozen. Let me kill you. Going to give you one who's going to give you. No, they know everything that's happening in your house. And they, and I told them that, basically, Dad, come on. You were on the Seawolf, you were in the government, I was in the Air Force. They explained to me about Air Force security and all that, airport security, and what a joke it is and all that. So you know what the deal is. If they want to kill poor people to keep the rich people in the money, honey, and in power, they'll do it. And then he always thought, same with, Kalen Gilliard. Oh, he's so naive. He can't protect anybody. He looks at the world through rose-colored glasses. No, life's eternal and grace is infinite. And you got to teach people to stand up for the Lord's Prayer and live the Lord's Prayer. And you got to explain to people how fucked it is to try to get away with fucking sodomizing your 3-year-old brother, and then tell everybody how sorry you were about it publicly and you'll never do it again. So you got to understand what you're dealing with. Okay, you're dealing with Navy SEALs that will talk all the guys in the unit to have sex with your bipolar wife who was sexually groomed and abused by the Navy because he wants to be the head of the unit, because Parsons can't keep anybody safe because he won't kill the people that don't follow the rules of engagement through genocide of economics for the group. So I know exactly what I'm dealing with. Trust me. Jeffrey Hinton has ego problems, and I can't correct him. I've tried. The Nobel Prize laureates have ego problems, and I've tried to correct them, and they don't listen. They're too smart for me. They're going to beat me. I'm like, I'm not trying to beat you. I'm trying to get you to stand up for Lord's Prayer to stop, sexual abuse of minors. I understand with Patrick, Natalie was puberty and could do at that time, girls that are hit puberty can choose the man that they want. I choose you, Aladdin. Okay. So when Patrick was protecting Natalie from sexual predators that manipulated her and abused her and her mom through surveillance because he worked on the AWACS, that's a radically different thing. He was uncomfortable because they put him in a vulnerable position, but he was doing the right thing. When a woman chooses to protect you sexually because she's hit puberty and she wants to be protected by somebody that didn't sexually groom her and reward him for sexually protecting her, that's a radically different thing. So, when I get complimented by young women that want to reward me with sexual comfort because I protected them from sexual grooming from perverts in the military, NASA, and Homeland Security, well, then, I think Little Miss Head of Homeland Security doesn't realize that she's Christine McVie. You can take me to paradise. Then again, you can be cold as ice. I'm over my head, but sure feels nice. Life's eternal and grace is infinite. She knows your mood is like a circus wheel. You're changing all the time. Nah, I'm consistent. That was Amy. My wife's always accused me of being them. And then when they dealt with the authorities, they accused themselves of being me. They always did that. Every time, Brad Barnett, that wait, you love me, and it's not that kind of movie. Okay, it's just not. She's using my sad story to get you to try to protect the little bird from the evil, mean pervert like on 2020 or Dateline. Just stand up for Lord's Prayer and stop being a bunch of assholes. Your bad brain activity is collectively engineered to make you the hero and the other the villain. If you forgive debt and trespass, when you forgive debt and trespass and love one another, eternal faithful peace, this theater is radically reduced. So I know what I'm doing, and life's eternal grace is infinite. If I have to take a kid, Abraham, put the kid on the table, and if you have to, that was a dream, but I don't know if it actually happened. You have to ask Aiko. I'm not the spirit of Abraham. I'm Adam Moses, David, Jesus, John. So I had to deal with different things with, the kids and the, stuff. And a lot of those stories and stuff because of tribalism and violent sex cult behavior. But he did too, obviously. So, and he still does because life's eternal, grace is infinite. And that's spirit of my relative. So, I really would have trusted me at this point, as opposed to people that sneak into people's houses, watch children be sexually groomed by military units, and then try to act like it didn't happen. If you tell lies on me, I'll tell the truth on you. I would have trusted me instead of the people that you think you can trust. I've said this numerous times, but this is life's eternal and grace is infinite, and this is all being collected. It's the first time we've ever had AGI and quantum computing with an active Messiah that's a living correction to save us from perversion with the perfection of the Gospels. So let's load this one up. We'll see if this one loads. So I'm calm because life's eternal, grace is infinite. So just remain calm. Peace be still, and just keep on. Be faithful. Peace.